If Tom were here right now, sitting in the first pew where he usually sat on Sunday, he would be looking at his watch to make sure I didn't preach too long.
Let's say hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down, y'all.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for the musical intro.
That's a catchy little tune.
From now on, we're just going to start the show a cappella. We'll let you sing.
We'll see if we can harmonize. Dee 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 dee.
No, I'm not going to do that.
All right. I thought we were about to be like Simon and Garfunkel or the Carter Family or the Watson Twins.
Maybe when I've had more sleep.
Or the Beach Boys. Nobody harmonizes like family, they say.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why all the great harmony groups have been sisters, husbands and wives.
The whatever's from
the
somewhere.
Everly Brothers, so on and so forth.
They're basically the same genetic material,
well,
so
it's
the same sound.
Not spouse partners, then.
But
no.
they have more time to practice because they're always together.
They've synced up their heartbeats.
Basically. Also, the phrase, nobody harmonizes like family, seems like something you'd see over the family table growing up, you know. Nobody harmonizes like family. Like, we all get along. Well, not anymore because the family has been destroyed by liberal views and values and shit.
Only in, like, a terrible family would you see something like that.
Yeah, you gotta think.
Yeah, like in the Jackson's house in Gary, Indiana.
Right, where they're trying to raise child stars.
I was speaking more like harmonizes like everybody gets along.
I feel like it would still be like an aspirational thing, though. Like, nobody harmonizes like family, and that's why you should never sing with your friends. Because that's something that we only do at home.
Right, it's very backhanded.
Yeah, there's a mom trying to keep it all together and failing miserably and on some pills, probably.
I think we've just written a pilot episode for a new cable TV drama show.
The Harmonizers.
Well, yeah, but they would be...
The Sopranos.
That whole thing sounds familiar.
The whole thing is that they're constantly negging each other. You know, every compliment is a veiled threat that they're not. Yeah, it's like this really. What would you call it? It's
passive aggressive.
Yeah, but like you have to have like a musical. Like I'm trying to. What would be the title of the show? Because it should be like a
Sforzando. Or
what, I know that at some point during the show, if the mom or dad is nagging the kids, and there's more than one kids, they should all say together, "Okay, Mom." That'd be kind of funny. It'd be a running gag through the show.
Now we're pitching this to Nickelodeon, I think.
It could just be called Crescendo.
The Crescendos.
Discord.
See, I wish I was that big producer guy that could just we could just have done that, and then we'd have a staff of 25 people that we could just say, now make it happen, and then 2 weeks later it's like, you got the pitch for me on that show, and then shit just started happening.
Now, you just want to be the genius who comes up with the thing.
Gary Marshall type guy, you know?
Yeah, and just hire a bunch of people. Y'all make this work.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy, and he has a...
They bring it in, I was like, it's bullshit, it's crap, and throw it back at them, and then they leave. And
So you just want to be a rich asshole?
But a genius. With genius attached. Just being a rich asshole, fuck that.
If all the other people are writing it and making it into something, are you really the genius?
They are, fuck yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, just checking.
I'm glad that you brought this up because I don't know if you know this, but there is a very famous genius who operated in very much the same fashion that you just described. I think maybe we should discuss this, actually.
Okay, come on.
So, did you hear any of the news this week?
Everything that you talked to me about that we were going to talk about at the show, none of it I had heard.
Okay.
Give me the news.
So let me tell you the news this week. Tom Benson is dead.
What? Ben Thompson died?
Yes.
That is shocking. I knew he had the flu, but then... Actually, that news I had heard.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That blew up.
Although I will say I had heard that, but I did get that news broken to me, which has not happened in years.
What do you mean, like specifically
Like
a person told you?
Someone told me about it, and I hadn't read it yet, and so then someone got to break the news to me. And usually I am always either the person who breaks the news to other people, or I just read about it on Twitter, and we all read about it on Twitter, so we all know it happened. But like in this case, I'd been in a meeting for like 4 hours, and I got back to the office, and someone said, "Hey, did you know Tom Benson died?" And I was like, "Whoa! I hadn't heard that."
So that was like a genuine, what I was trying to get you guys to do just now.
Yes, but it really happened.
Wow.
I know. I feel like that hasn't
happened
happened to me
bottled that up and brought it to the show with
in
you.
a long time. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm not that good of an actor.
It didn't move me enough to reconjure the emotion.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't sad enough the first time to really dig it up for the second time.
I do remember.
I did get it broke to me also, though.
Oh,
like,
really?
I didn't read it on Twitter either. Somebody came in and told me, and the person who told me Benson was basically his hero. So he was like, he had a very sad look on his face.
A person told you that Tom Benson was his personal hero?
Yes.
As in,
this person aspires to have a tower with his name on it.
Was he so he's not just a wine and ice cream enthusiast.
No, I think, well, probably so also, but I think that, comes with it.
So, yeah, Jeff Duncan had an article today in the Times-Picayune where he went and talked to Benson's inner circle, where they described, fun memories of him and things that they loved about him and the things that he did that they admired. They were really impressed with his ability to remember exactly who was supposed to park in what fucking parking spot. And he would be very pissed at them if they didn't park in the right spot, and he would come in and tell somebody about it. Like every day he would say shit like this.
What?
And
that sounds awesome. That's what I would do if I was the TV exec genius. I'd be like, there's a system here. I don't understand why you're not doing it. It's very simple. I like that.
Was that what they used to prove that he was mentally competent in court? Was that he could remember everyone's parking spot?
Maybe.
Could somebody who shits their pants do that? I think not.
Hey, I'm keeping track of important details every day.
I can run this parking garage. You think I can't run the Saints? Fuck off.
It's not Gail keeping track of these parking spots. It's me, this genius brain.
Now let me get a couple of them dum-dums.
But all of the comments from people are kind of like that. They're like, he was always being an asshole.
He just loved yelling at waiters so much.
Right.
I'm going to miss
So there's all sorts of ways in which he's just an asshole, but they're remembering it fondly.
He loved yelling at waiters?
No,
No, this is true.
I was doing a bit.
This is from Duncan's article. Benson expected the restaurant's wait staff to arrive promptly and ready for business, just like his employees. And woe unto the server that dawdled.
Who's writing this? Jeff Duncan?
Jeff Duncan.
Oh.
And there's a quote from Dennis Lasha. It says, "We'd sit down at the table, and he would almost immediately say, 'Is there anybody working here?'" And again, these are the good times with Tom.
Rest in piss, Tom.
Yeah. There's and then there's all kind of stuff in here about how like he was an asshole driver.
No problem with that.
There's a story in here about them when they all go to Kennebunkport, and he almost runs them off the cliff a couple of times, and it's just Mickey Loomis's wife has to reach over and put the steering wheel back while Tom's trying to drive.
Oh, well, that could show up in a competency hearing. Endangered the life of the general manager of the Saints and Pelicans. Do you think that this is going to be the win it for Tom year for the Saints next year?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the patch is going to be that they wear. Are they going to wear? Are they just going to have
Bronze Tom?
Is it going to be Bronze Tom?
Yeah.
I hope it's Sad Tom.
Of course you do.
I already have a pin. I have a Sad Tom pin that I always wear to every game. I'll have to send my design to the Saints just to see if they'll use that.
The Pelicans could win it all for Tom before the Saints even do.
Not this year.
Well, no. You never know what...
They could give it the old college try.
They could have fun trying. Thank you, Alli.
When the owner of the Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers passed away last year, 2 years ago, Anyway, the Red Wings this year have all had patches on their jerseys that say Mr. I. This was Mike Ilitch.
What is a Red Wings?
It's a hockey team.
Yeah, I know that. But what are they? What is the mascot?
It's a tire with a wheel with
That's
wings.
what the Red Wing is?
A winged wheel. Yeah.
That's their mascot. A wheel with wings on it.
Yeah.
It represents a wheel with wings on it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I always thought it was intercourse with a woman who's menstruating.
No.
You never heard that euphemism?
No.
So and so, old Jimmy earned his Red Wings tonight.
No, I hadn't heard that one in particular.
I'm shocked they don't throw that around at the hockey game.
I'm shocked that no one would have made that joke in front of me before.
No, it's a new dawn. It's a new day.
Wow.
If I ever do a stand-up routine, I'm going to drop that one in there.
Okay.
There's a whole...
That's good that you would plan that so far in advance.
Yeah. One day I'm going to do my stand-up. This is the closest I have right now is this podcast, so I'm going to try some bits out on this thing.
Great.
What the hell were we talking about? Oh, Tom.
Tom, yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let me tell you the other story that I liked from the Duncan article, and it was this. Duncan writes this. He says, on and on the stories went. On and on.
Great writing, Jeff.
He said Donald.
Next.
That was...
The time this past fall when Benson went duck hunting at the horse farm in Paris, Kentucky. There's a Paris, Kentucky.
Sure.
It's
the original Paris.
I almost did a spit take. Those two things, they seem like the furthest away places on Earth, Paris and Kentucky.
While aiming at a winged target.
Good God.
So not necessarily a duck. Is his way of saying that.
Winged target.
It may have been a duck. A red-winged target?
Could have been anything.
It could have been an endangered bird. Who
Could
knows?
have been a tire with wings on it.
Tom unwittingly rained buckshot onto the head.
Dick Cheney. So the good times are Tom putting people's lives in danger.
Or being an asshole.
Tom being an asshole to people. Tom almost running people off a cliff.
Shooting
people in the face.
Boy, what a guy.
This is what we're celebrating this week.
Our town really is going to be lost without this guy.
I'm fucking amazed at just the ubiquity of the Benson praise from everyone. Corner.
There's no one who's even a little bit like I was surprised even from like longtime Saints fans who remember exactly what went down in 2005 and 2006. Like I thought that their memories would be a little bit longer.
And it's not, you don't even have to. That's already been excused, right? Like there's like, oh well, he had this moment of weakness after Katrina, and then the commissioner talked him out of it, and then he came back and he's really been trying to make up for it ever since.
No, he hasn't. He's been trying to suck up every last public dollar, which was the whole business model that he pioneered in the fucking first place, and spread like a cancer across this great land. What the? It makes me so mad.
Yeah, so he's I
can't believe people are sad about this.
He's accumulated this $1 billion fortune basically off of state subsidies every year. So this is already the people's money that goes to him. And in the waning years of his life, Gail Benson, not Tom, Gail, has made it a point to spread this wealth around, to just reinforce their sense of noblesse oblige to the public, And so all of this money that could have been apportioned via the state budget process to these hospitals that were closing, for example, now goes to the Bensons to be distributed to the World War II Museum or to
Brother
Martin High School or to
Oshner
and Tulane and the things
Loyola.
that they see fit to bestow their
good old boys, people in the good old boy network, and they're
right.
Well, it's mostly things that make them look more pious. I think that was one of the. They really doubled down on like Tom Benson was a man of faith, deep religious faith, and that was like the whole brand they were building over the last few years.
He was super Catholic. He met Gail in church.
I did know that.
And
hey, that's where you can meet some ladies now. Even back in the day.
Especially when you go to Mass at St. Louis Cathedral every day.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
He lived in the quarter?
No.
He had someone drive him into the quarter every day to go to church?
That's my impression, yes.
Oh, I hate going in the quarter. As soon as I turn that into the quarter, I'm just like, this fucking place. God, I couldn't imagine. Even if I was being driven there, it would suck.
You've got quarter fatigue.
I do. I totally have quarter fatigue. That's a different story. How much did he, of the people's money, did he, what's the rough number on?
I'm sure we can look that up. I don't know. You mean money that he
Have
gave
y'all
away?
heard anything?
I think Jeff Duncan's retrospective left that grand total out. Can you believe it?
It probably, well...
That's a shame. That should have been
Three-digit millions.
But it was the first line of his obituary.
I'm also pretty sure you can look that up pretty easily. I mean, there were like 6 different articles this week about like how much money they spent.
Hundreds of millions?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not being fair.
Yeah.
I just haven't been reading as much news this week.
It has been something that I've been inclined to kind of stiff arm away when it comes to at me. But
gave it to Heisman. And he took that street.
Oh
Sal.
Yeah.
You're nobody in this town. That's y'all can attribute this quote to the Hunker Downcast. You're nobody in this town until you take a public street. That school by your place, what's it?
Jesuit.
Jesuit took a street. Audubon Boulevard, they took a street. Tom Benson took a street. You're nobody. Until you take a fucking street.
Until they give you a street.
Until they give you the whole fucking street. And naming it after you doesn't count. You have to say, this shit is my street now. Put a fence on it, and everyone has to go around it. Something to aspire to.
Yeah. What was the thing? Oh, so you were talking about Gail. This is all about Gail, really. Like this whole like giving spree at the end of Tom's life was Gail setting herself up to continue to have all of these people come to her all the time. So now everybody that they've donated to over the years they're going to look to Gail for their stuff. Why is everybody praising Tom so much today? Because they want to make sure that Gail is still available to donate to their group or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Because she, as it turns out, got everything.
She managed that too, right?
She got it all.
Renee and Rita get things. Like they get the whatever...
Yeah, whatever they figured out in the settlement.
Which I think has to do with all the car dealerships in San Antonio and...
Oh, that sounds rough, though.
It does.
Yeah, it seems like that's... Yeah, I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't think Rita really aspired to be a car dealership owner in San Antonio.
No.
I think she had her sights aimed a little bit differently than that.
What's weird about that...
You land at a car dealership.
I remember seeing when they were trying to reach the settlement that whatever they did, Rita and Renee had to get something of equivalent value to what they would have had if they had gotten their share of the Saints and Pelicans. And I can't imagine what... They must have gotten some chunk of something that we don't know about. Because besides just the San Antonio assets, I don't know... Maybe it is worth a lot of money. I don't know.
It could have just been straight cash. I mean, you could have just bought them out.
But anyway, now it's just... Gail is queen of the universe. And... people seem... I think part of it is people seem to instinctively believe that Gail is more likely to keep the Saints and Pelicans in New Orleans, which for the layperson, this is basically the only thing they care about anyway. Is that, well, I mean, is she going to move the Saints? No. Well, okay, she can have whatever the hell she wants. I'm not convinced that that's really the case. I don't know how interested she really is in operating the teams. She might dump them as soon as somebody pays her off for it if she can go live and be a wealthy dowager for the rest of her life, which I think
it all depends on the type of person she is and what she sort of wants out of her life at this point.
Yeah.
And if what she wants is what you said earlier, to have people come to her and for her to make decisions that affect hospitals and grants and shit like that, then I guess she'll stick around.
Yeah,
and it all depends on what somebody at that stage in their life and after everything, everything she's not been through, because I don't want to make it sound like it was rough, but after everything, her entire experience, and then what makes her happy at that point.
It's probably tricky to maintain the level of social cash that she has and be the person that sold the Saints off to, Las Vegas or whatever.
Right.
So,
but if you just want to bounce from society and go lay on the beach, fuck it.
Lay naked on the beach.
Yeah. But that shit does get boring.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the time. I think this is the time for the city of New Orleans to buy them out.
Yeah, you're right.
Public ownership.
Well,
Come on.
The NFL would never approve it. But fuck them.
Well, I think that we should draft a letter to Gail. I was trying to do this earlier in the week, where if we approach Gail with this, deference to Tom. Tom, think of some Catholic things to say about Tom's life.
I read your tweet or your Facebook message. It made me
and to tell her it would honor his legacy to the city of New Orleans if she helped us turn the team over to the people who really make it what it is anyway.
Give unto God what is God's, and give unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Right.
Give unto the state of Louisiana what belongs to the people of Louisiana. The Saints.
Give unto John McKithen what is John McKithen's. And, yeah.
It sounds like a great idea. If you need some graphic design, you just let me know.
All right.
Okay.
Or an art for an auction of some sort. I don't know. It's the way I help people.
Yeah.
I give them art or graphic design. So this man's funeral was today.
Yeah.
And it rolled right past the Dirty Boys gallery.
The second line came by the gallery?
Was Tom a real dirty boy?
It's hard to say.
He shot a dude in the face.
Yeah, but he was already a rich fuck at that point.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that you can't be a dirty boy and be a billionaire, but
you gotta be a little more on the Richard Branson side of a billionaire.
Yeah, and just I can't see how any dirty boy could amass $1 billion. It just seems like it's not in the algorithm.
He wasn't partying enough.
Yeah, at some point you're gonna lose that $1 billion if you're a dirty.
Dirty boys or you read about a dirty boy having squandered their lottery winnings.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, dirty boys are like pornography. I know one when I see one.
Okay.
Yeah, It's really hard to. They're definitely not all good. It's not a compliment necessarily.
Doesn't sound like it.
But I don't know. It's I can say that's one, and that's not one. I'm certainly Tom near the end of his life, unless he, did something that I'm not unaware of. I don't know that he was a dirty boy. No.
He met the Pope and immediately asked the Pope to look at his Super Bowl ring.
Dirty-ish. Not quite there.
Okay.
Anyways, his second line came by the gallery today. It started with the hearse. It was empty, and then Charbonnet must have done it.
It was horse-drawn.
Yeah, they had the little wooden casket.
Yeah.
With Tom in it, I'm assuming, and the big white horses, and they rolled by, and then the men in the fezzes rolled by after that, and then State Congressman John Bagneris was in there amongst that because he's got some affiliation with Charbonnet. I'm not entirely sure what it was, and then there was some Pope-looking things.
Some Pope-looking things?
Dudes with miters on. And the sticks, whatever they're called. What is the little stick called?
Probably the Archbishop and his people. And
Popey looking shit.
Okay.
They rolled by, and amongst them, one of them was getting it. Nobody in this whole second line, I'm just going to tell y'all now, was getting it.
So they were not doing the dirge portion of the second line. They were doing the...
The brass band was playing,
yeah,
and the music was going. Nobody was getting it.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't a dancer. But amongst the Popey things, in the crowd of Popey things, there in black was Miss Gale. And she had a sway about her and her black sunglasses, and clearly in mourning and waving and stuff. She may have blown a kiss to me. Y'all have to see the video. She has sunglasses on, so I can't really tell, but I think it was to me.
Okay.
I filmed the whole thing.
I believe you.
She's probably heard about my... What's it called when you make a... I've let it be known on Twitter that I'm available for her if she...
Oh, I see.
So chooses. Overtures. Mm-hmm. Overtures.
I don't know what it's like in this high-class thing. There are little signals that you get.
I know. I do know, Jeff.
Okay.
And I have sent her the right symbols. I have, the lavender...
Right.
The dark chocolates and such. I've done them all. I've jumped through all the hoops.
Right.
Now I just await her response, like a Amazonian bird, after he does his little feather dance.
Okay.
So then after that, she rolls by. Drew was there with his wife. Sean was rolling with him. The whole first part of the second line was like beautiful people. Like the rich must use these hair products and skin products and stuff that just makes them, gives them that little sheen, kind of. There's no dirt. There were no dirty boys there.
They were shiny, happy people.
Yeah, they just had this kind of, everything was like in Technicolor
at the funeral, right?
Yeah. So
like plastic trees.
Yeah, definitely. And then we hollered at them. People were unsure.
What are their 90s musical references? Can we just talk about that?
It seemed as though the crowd, which was a mix of natives and tourists, was unsure whether this was a traditional second line, a funeral, a Saints game, or a Mardi Gras parade. It was kind of like everybody was kind of doing one of those four things. They were in one of those four modes. So you'd have somebody like with beads on, somebody yelling "Who Dat" over here, other people somber. The crowd didn't know what to fucking do.
And you're saying that the crowd didn't know what to do, not because this is a weird thing, but because they specifically are tourists and don't know what's going on?
No, there was natives there. It was because it was a particularly weird thing. It's not something that we've done before. It's not like a second line. Oh, we know what to do during the second line. Yeah. We know what to do during a Mardi Gras parade. We know what to do during it was all these things, and it was Tom Benson, Right. So, like, people were yelling "Who Dat" and everything like that, and I was like, I'm not doing that. He's not the Saints. He's just some administrator fucker over the Saints. But I ain't hoodatting him. People were playing stand up and get crunk. There were the you ever been in the quarter like where they have the trucks that drive around and people kind of cheer and stuff.
Yeah,
they were doing that.
Were they doing the Sean Payton?
I didn't hear that. No.
I think the Sean Payton died in Minnesota.
I did see the Sean Payton. He just rolled on by.
And the dance.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, I meant the man. I'm going to call him the Sean Payton from now on. Okay. You think the Sean Payton's going to extend his contract?
So does that mean that Do the Sean Payton is going to have a little bit different meaning for you?
He did have somebody that was doing him there.
Oh.
He was walking with some woman, so he had a date.
Good for him.
They rolled by. Then I saw a giant man. I don't know what he looked like. Andre the Giant.
There were several large football players there.
This dude probably had pituitary gland disorder. Okay. He had acromegaly, I'm pretty sure.
I know Willie Rofe was there.
I didn't see him. There were all kinds of guys that went by. And then as he was going by, and I was noticing, like, Jesus, look at the brow and the broad shoulders of this man. What I did notice was right next to him, and I finally noticed it in the video, Marcus Colston was right next to him. Mm-hmm. I just didn't notice him at the time. Because The Quiet Storm is,
That's Marcus Colston's talent, and has always been throughout his career, is just to slip by unnoticed.
He slipped by. Yeah. He slipped by me that day. Mm. Then there was a long period where everybody else was, like, just walking by. It was a bunch of more fake plastic trees and shit went by, shiny, happy people. And then Jeremy was next to me, and I said, "Oh, look, Bobby." And he looked, and he goes, "Where's Bobby?" I was like, "He's right there, bro." And he was like, "I don't see him." I was like, "Bobby, bro, Bobby." And I pointed at this man who was literally, at this point, like about 10 feet away from me. And he goes, "I don't see him." I was like, "Payush, bro, Payush." He was like, "Oh, wait. Bobby Jindal?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I thought you meant Bobby Hebert." And I was like, "No, it was Bobby Jindal." So he rolled by, and then about 10 feet behind him, all by himself, looking around at everything, seemingly lost, was, I forgot the motherfucker's name. It slips my mind. Johnny Gill. Playoffs.
Oh, Jim Moore.
Jim Moore was
Okay.
there. And I finally...
I was going to ask, was it a football person or a politics person?
It was a
Because
football
you got both
person.
of those, right?
And Jeremy was like, "Hey, coach," and that's what got him all kind of spun and wondering what the fuck was going on. And then he just wandered off. And then after that, it was just public people.
Yeah, there were both mayors were there. Multiple governors were
I
there.
didn't see either of the mayors.
I saw pictures of them. Some
Uh,
other.
Jim Moore, Bobby Jindal. Bobby Jindal was getting coached by one of the Popey things. He was walking with a Popey thing.
Was he getting pointers on how to exercise people? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. They were having one of their
the
deep
demonology
conversations.
discussion in the middle of the procession.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And then it finished off.
Oh,
And
good.
people just got drunk at Harry's after that.
As they do.
The funeral party? Got
No,
drunk
just-
at Harry's?
No, the extended funeral party that was like tourist people who were like,
Gotcha.
"Oh, we got to see the Saints owner's funeral."
Have any of you guys been to a celebrity funeral before? Or like a famous person's funeral?
Like attended one?
Yeah. I have not.
Oh,
This is like a strange concept.
I feel
to me.
like I was at this one. Just
now listening to
just
Varg
now
read-
listening to Varg talk about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, it was covered on every website and or TV station in town, and therefore was being broadcast all day long. So I kind of felt like it was a part of my life as it was happening.
I think my mom watched Princess Diana's funeral on TV, so that was kind of like going to the funeral, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I was thinking about what would have been analogous to this, and that it's a state funeral. It's a freaking royal funeral.
Mm-hmm. I know that they offered to let Tom's body lie in state at Gallier Hall, but that ended up not happening, right?
Yes.
Because that would have been too much.
It would have been.
3 days of mourning for Tom.
Like, are they going to make us, like, walk in there, like, mandatory citizen viewings or something? I mean, come on.
My idea was to have him cast in bronze and just replace the actual bronze Tom with actual Tom. Kind of, I don't know, like
Tom's
Lenin.
tomb,
Yeah. And
right there on the LaSalle Street. Oh wait, is Bronze Tom on LaSalle? It's a little up.
It's
We
It's
should
Maybe they
elevated.
could do, like, whatever they did with Lenin, and,
in
like,
Champion Square.
put him in a glass box and all that.
Yeah, I
and
don't know
he's
why.
still in that glass box.
Yeah,
isn't
he
he?
is.
I don't know why they haven't gone that far yet. It seems like the all the momentum was there. They want to rename Lee Circle again.
The theme of this Saints season will be what is to be done.
I also like that. I also like that every time somebody dies now, somebody somewhere is going to exclaim, "Person circle."
Oh, God, yeah,
Forever until they do something with that circle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that, and we can segue into your next topic here. I thought that Master Mitch had already come up with stuff for what was going to be where the monuments are.
Yeah, he did. Like when he was well, he didn't come up with things. He did though. He had a plan. It
Water
was,
feature for one of them.
The Lee Circle was going to have a water feature.
No, but
and
it's
then
going to... That changed. I mean, I think that was an idea. It was
He-
going to be the Tricentennial Fountain or whatever.
there was a plan, like the beginnings of a plan or a plan to plan.
Mm-hmm.
Each one. The city park board was going to be in charge of replacing Beauregard, and something else was supposed to happen with Jeff Davis, and there was an idea, and then he just totally backed off of that this week because now that the book is out and the presidential campaign has been launched, it's done. Now it is time for America to move forward and the healing can begin and such.
Right, yeah.
So whatever happens next to those, sites is
Did he?
Not my problem, dude.
something like that.
Those are your words. The healing can begin.
Well, they're really all of our words.
Okay, because I was hoping he didn't say that.
No, he didn't actually say that.
No,
I was
I
like,
think
they're
it's-
pissed off about a war that fucking happened in not the 1900s, but the 1800s. I don't think they're gonna. The healing is not gonna begin. There's not gonna be no healing.
Well, it's been an interesting week watching Mitch do the media tour with his book. He was on 60 Minutes, and I was disappointed because there was a shot. 60 Minutes used footage of the Lee removal, and there was a reverse angle shot of the crowd at the statue, and there was a spot where Alli and Tim and I were standing, and we were right behind this one dude with a big hat. Mm-hmm. And we could have been on 60 Minutes.
Oh, man.
We're not for that guy.
It's all about you, isn't it, Jeff?
It is. I feel like...
You're like Lamar. You don't care what fucking happens as long as you get the credit for it.
Well, I'm more like Mitch in that regard.
Right. And Lamar likes, Lamar and Mitch, they're...
So
he's going to run for president, huh?
I don't know.
I think so. And I didn't think so for a while, and then I've started to think more and more that this is the case.
It is just crazy to me.
Well, it's like this. It's like what is the angle with Mitch? Like, what are we telling America? Like, we heard you, America. Here's what you want. You want Martin O'Malley if he never became governor. I mean, there's no...
Like how he can appeal to people nationally?
Yeah. There's no there. There's nothing new. He's an establishment Democrat. His entire thing is, he's spent the last 8 years helping to gentrify New Orleans and doing all the things that people are kind of tired of what Democrats have done for decades now. Everything is a public-private partnership. Everything is... this crime-fighting stuff, like we're tough on crime, we're putting cameras everywhere, we're cleaning up the French Quarter. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what he has to offer that speaks to where the momentum is supposed to be on the left right now. I don't know what he offers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be one thing if he was a mayor that, say, had taken on mass incarceration in a meaningful way, or had taken on the surveillance state, or some other issue of national importance in a major way. I think the resilience stuff is clearly a topic that's not going to go away, and I think that he's been as a mayor that is committed to fighting climate change at a municipal level. That's important, but again, that's not a national presidential campaign. That's just... It
can be, and it doesn't... it can be an angle for him, but my take on this is it's more a result of him having been in the significant place at the right time.
Yeah.
He was mayor of New Orleans after Katrina, and in New Orleans at a time where the world is trying to deal with these climate change issues. And I mean, you're the expert here. That cities have to deal with these water management issues and resilience issues. And he's been the guy in New Orleans, which is on the front lines of that. But it's not like... I
think that's his best and most solid argument.
But it's not something that he's done. There's no Mitch Landrieu agenda that has changed the way people view this. He's just been the guy who was mayor when these issues came to the fore. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I don't think that he's done anything to get excited about. He has basically applied the Democratic Party template to it, which is let's find some private sponsors to come in and see who wants to profit off of this crisis that we're in right now. Who can help us, defer the costs, but also to privatize the benefits of it. So I don't see how he is the inspirational figure in that regard, even though this is an issue that he will claim. Mm-hmm. The same goes for the statues, the monuments. Obviously, he's extremely woke now, even though he is the mayor who happened to be the mayor at the time that this issue came to the fore and was dragged along with it. And
yeah, the brazen disregard for the decades of black activists who worked for this moment
mm-hmm.
is just, it's staggering. The complete erasure of the activists who brought this issue up and who worked to get to this point. He just had lunch with Wynton Marsalis one day and said, hey, maybe we should take these statues down. Like, it just came to him in the night. It's it's flabbergasting.
And he tells the story from this point of view of, like, it's not something I ever thought of.
No shit.
Right.
You're white.
But he doesn't say, it doesn't seem to be coming from a place of, like, I needed to be educated. More as just, my friend Wynton had this great idea, and I made it happen because of how great I am. So that's the other part of him not, like, I don't see what he offers. And then the third part of this is just being, a mayor, right? Like, he's the head of the U.S. Conference of Mayors right now, and that's part of him burnishing his cred. So he deals with, urban development issues, and what are the problems that cities face all across the country right now? Well, they have to do with poverty, displacement, gentrification, income inequality. They're the places they're the symbols of the divide in this country right now, where we have 40 million people across the country in poverty, and we have concentrated wealth, and it all happens in the cities. All the money is in the cities. You can see the contrast between wealth and destitution in the cities. And he has presided over this through the last, he's finishing 2 terms. And I can't point to a single policy of his that attacks that so much as goes along with the conventional wisdom that half of it is good. And, we have to make sure that we keep the criminals in line, and other than that, everything is great. So again, what is he offering America? Like, well, what does he do?
Maybe he is not running so much for America as he is running. So what happens in wrestling, Jeff?
Yes,
great.
Is sometimes you have a main eventer, right? And he's up there, and he will get into a feud with what's called a mid-carder, a guy who usually wrestles in the mid of the card. In the middle of the card. And as they do their feud, the main eventer, he doesn't lose any cred. But that mid-carder, he gets cred by entering into this feud with the main eventer. So he rises up, right? Okay. So Mitch helps Mitch by becoming a presidential candidate, entering into this national arena, learning things, raising campaign funds, because he's not spending his own money on it, so he's got what to lose, his time,
right?
But the whole time he gets to go out and do speeches, and then he gets recognized now, even if he runs and loses, which he probably will, he gets now recognized as a national figure, and it's Mitch. It helps Mitch. Yeah. Then later on he can run for the Senate or get a lobbyist job or something like that. Just do something. He's leaving this regional figure and becoming a more national one.
No, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he's running for president.
Well, it's a little bit of both. He needs
even the speculation helps him.
Right. He's doing the Bobby Jindal thing, where he needs something to do now, and he needs something to do to keep himself part of the fundraising crowd, like where the money is, being a celebrity or a person who is a voice,
the guy who took down the monument,
right?
Started the national trend, which is how he pitches it, right?
Right. He's riding that wave right now, and he's going to continue to be a national figure because his idea was, after being mayor of New Orleans, he wanted to be in the Clinton administration. Like, there's no doubt.
That'd have been perfect.
There's no doubt that's where he was going to be appointed. He probably would have been like HUD or something. And awesome. This ridiculous thing happened along the way to that. And now everybody's trying to adjust. And I think this is his fallback plan, is to just kind of be like, he wrote a book, which is a thing that Bobby did. Bobby wrote books, and
Bobby Aber?
Bobby Jindal.
Oh.
Yeah. Payush, as you said earlier.
Is that Payush, bro?
Is that how they say it on the Bayou? Payush?
How is it said?
Yeah, I would have said Payush.
I said Payush, bro. PPJ. It's on the video. I'll upload it.
But anyway, yeah, I think you're right. I think he's following whatever the career path is supposed to be.
And who knows? He could win the motherfucker, because this terrible thing that happened, So
Anything's possible.
it's fucking possible.
There's no ceiling anymore.
We live in infinite improbability.
I can't tell you how many times I said that terrible thing that happened wasn't going to happen.
Boy, we all did, brother.
I was like, that shit ain't happening. What else is there?
Inconceivable.
It was, and I do not know the meaning of that word. I also was thinking today, I was like, I remember when Bush got elected, and I had read that Cheney had a baboon heart, and I said aloud, ain't no way this fucker's living through this presidency. Nope, not gonna happen. Here it is, 18 years later.
Dude is still alive.
Dude's going strong.
David Bowie is dead, and Dick Cheney is alive.
What did he know that Tom Benson didn't know?
Henry Kissinger is still alive. How are these evil dudes still going? The evil makes them stronger.
It does. Because they don't worry about feelings as much.
Because unlike Tom, they chose Satan.
And Tom's going to heaven.
And Tom chose the Pope. And
okay.
This is a Dick Cheney episode. He's come up twice now. Go fuck yourself, Mr. Cheney.
All right, should we take a break?
Yeah, I gotta pee.
Okay.
All right. Let me push the break button.
What else?
Three different devices that we use. That really is the kind of epidemic that we see now. Gun violence is a huge part of it. I like the fact that we now are going to begin to talk about the Second Amendment, what it means to people. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in Americans' right to own and to bear arms. I own guns myself. I'm from Louisiana. We hunt and fish there all the time, and it's part of our deep and rich culture. But I think one of the geniuses of the Founding Fathers is where they created a right, they created a responsibility. And I think everybody agrees that no amendment to the Constitution, not the first, not the second, not the fourth or the fifth, is absolute, and all of them come with common sense restrictions. And if we can at least agree on that, maybe we can begin to agree on the things that make sense that will keep us safe, that also take into consideration personal responsibility and how you handle those things. And I hope that we can have a robust discussion. The thing that the president said that in my mind everybody in America should agree on, the NRA and the president, is that we need more police officers on the streets of America. In the 90s, Congress provided about $1.7 billion to local law enforcement so that we could put more police officers on the street. That funding has been decreased by 88%. So yesterday when the president said, I want to put $4 billion on the table so that we can help put police officers on the street to secure our streets and to secure our schools, what rang in my head is there's common ground. So my greatest hope is that Congress doesn't get kind of off on the things that they can't agree on and not find the things that we do agree on. So I'd like to drive a train right through that one issue.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Jeff. I would like to talk to you guys about a wonderful opportunity to help out the Hunker Downcast.
It's Pledge Week here at the Hunker Downcast. And boy, do we have some exciting news for you.
You can get a brass pass to Jazz Fest. Not really.
No, you
Can you? Really? Wow.
Dang. So we don't have donor levels or really anything in the way of swag.
No, we have Varg art.
Okay, but that's not swag. I think it's better than swag, but we don't show swag.
No, it doesn't. I'll write Hunger Downcast on it.
Okay, yeah. So we have homemade swag.
Yeah.
Artisan crafted swag.
Tim and M pins, maybe.
I can make little signs that say "Hunker Down."
Basically, we have
Patreon.
We've set up a Patreon in which you can support the show, and we would also love to hear from y'all on what you would like us to add to it. You know, would you like bonus content? We can do that. Would you like personalized messages or something? We could do that.
Would you like a ringtone?
Yeah. Would you like Varg to draw you a new Twitter avatar?
I don't really draw very well.
Well, or
I could present a abstract figure made of wood for them for sure. I can do whatever they want as long as they give us that money.
Okay. So, what's the link to the...
Most importantly, would you like to demonstrate to Varg that his efforts here are, capable of being monetized? And secondly...
Wait. I know my efforts are capable of being monetized. Our efforts together, maybe less so.
There's no ethical consumption under capitalism, but you can support our show with your money, and we'll call you ethical.
Most importantly, the several errors in the recording that you've already experienced this evening can be completely alleviated if somebody buys me a new laptop.
Yeah, if we can get enough money to get Jeff a new laptop, we will be just Italian chef kissing fingers, perfect,
Mwah.
and able to give you all of the content that you crave.
Mm.
And we know how much y'all crave that content. So what's the link in which people can go check this out and give us money?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I think it's patreon.com/hunkerdowncast.
All right, let's...
Check our social media for that.
Yeah, it will float out on the Twitter. Beyond that, we don't really know how the internet works very much. So whatever.
If we can have more patrons than Eric Garland, that would be awesome.
Uh-huh.
I would love to get to that level. That would be great.
I think,
but I recognize that we haven't put out a lot of content this year yet.
Right.
So we're working on it. It's a two-way street.
It's a difficult time during the mayoral transition where we all have a lot to do, and we're all subjected to our own non-disclosure agreements, and we don't really all of the big money donors are all going to LaToya at the moment.
We've had
waiting for them to come back around.
lid on our content lately.
Right. But we're all expecting this to turn around soon. And,
unless the content is about Mardi Gras, in which we'll deliver 3 hours.
It'll be a month late, but we will deliver it. Anyway.
So we have a Patreon, so y'all can go there, and I think there's a $40 level in which you'll get a free skull from me and help out the Hunker Downcast.
And our intention was that was a one-time donation?
It is a one-time donation. Although...
It might be set up as monthly, in which case we'll go fix that.
We could put up a swag bag that has different types of Varg art in it every month for y'all if y'all want to donate every month. You get a free piece of Varg art every month, and you help out the Hunker Downcast. And if we get super successful, Alli and Pat will have to come to the shop and help me make the stuff.
I'll do that, yeah.
And that'll be awesome.
Jeff won't have to help out?
I said Alli. Oh, I said Alli and Pat.
Yeah, you did. Thanks.
God damn it.
My bad. Alli and Jeff.
All right.
Anyway, enough of that. SOSO.
Get Pat to do it.
Yeah, Pat will do it.
Volunteer. Say it's a volunteer activity, and Pat will just rush right in to do it, man. We'll convince him that it's helping the community some way.
So for the third time, enough of that. What are we doing for SOSO this week?
I have not been out very much. So I've been looking for a house, and I can tell you all about that, but it does not fall under the SOSO guidelines.
Yeah, I think SOSO. I think for SOSO, we're just going to do a little personal update on some things we've been experiencing.
So, are you saying that you did not enjoy your St. Chatties?
I didn't do anything for St. Chatties. You
didn't participate in St. Chatties.
I hung out at the gallery and just watched the Chads go everywhere and stuff.
Okay.
And it was about like it usually is, chatty as fuck. But I've been looking for a house here in New Orleans, and I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but the real estate market here is a fucking dumpster fire. It is a complete disaster, and part of this is the fact that I originally bought pre-Katrina, and I have my vision of what a $120,000 house is like, and that vision, houses are no longer what I would pay $120,000 for.
No, you need at least $500,000 in an Airbnb account.
For a good one.
Yeah.
But even those, the ones they're trying to sell, so what's happening is that contractors or flippers are going in and hitting these houses and redecorating them real quick and then bouncing. And they're, you can see patterns.
Yeah.
That they're the same people are doing the same stuff, and they're telling their cronies, or these guys are going and looking at the houses and they're doing the same things. And a lot of them are those 18 by 18 inch tile throughout the house, like not just in the kitchen but in all the rooms, in the living room, throughout the entire house, 18 by 18 inch ceramic tile or whatever.
So it's the same operation, buying up a bunch of houses and flipping them over in the same
maybe that
fashion.
Or it's just everybody knows that's the easiest thing to do.
Could be
for the flooring,
But there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. I mean, you see look all over town and see all the "We Buy Houses" signs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Like people looking to scoop stuff up. In fact, I know I heard a story from someone in the Irish Channel last week who said that they were cold called about their house by somebody, just like randomly, like, "Hey, we just bought the property behind you. Are you interested in selling your house?"
Right.
And just shit like that out of the blue is pretty amazing. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of like entrapment almost, like if they it's pretty sinister shit.
Ensorcelment.
Also, a lot of houses have like this glass backsplash in the kitchen that's supposed to be airspacey, I guess.
Airspacey.
It looks pretty bad, and it just goes on, and then all of them are, 150, 180, 240, 280 fucking houses and shit. And one thing they do that is particularly just pisses me off is that they'll say the descriptions, and if you follow my Twitter account, a lot of mornings I'm sitting there going through listings, seeing something ridiculous, and I'll post it. So if you want to hear more of this shit, just drop me a follow. But
also, if you have any advice or help, right?
Yeah, I mean, me being as particular as I am as to what I need, and being a second-time home buyer, and knowing, and me trying to fix the problems that I had or the things that I was unhappy with about my first house, that kind of makes me turn my nose up at a lot of the houses. Whereas if I was buying one for the first time, I'd probably see that glass backsplash and think it was the coolest thing on the planet. But just a little older and wiser and more refined in my fucking needs. And I need a big bathtub, and I need a big garage, So every bathtub I look at, I'm like, well, that fucking thing's coming out, So there's already about $10,000 I'm going to have to put into almost any house I buy just to do that and to get a workshop area if I have to. But they'll say it's in an up and coming neighborhood, which I know exactly what that fucking means. That fucking thing is not. It might be up and coming, but it means it's not fucking there yet. Which means you're gonna have some fucking bullshit happening around you. And at my house in Algiers, we had that guy come in the backyard with the fucking gun that one time. Doris had to fucking chase a burglar away. We got our shed broken into. We had numerous incidents out in front of the fucking house where people were pissed off or fighting or looking shady or threatening us or doing all kinds of shit like that.
You were knee deep in the authenticity.
Yeah. I know it's not charming to me. I'm like, I'm not paying for it.
Right.
I'm paying less for it. Like, it's not something I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm like, no, this shit sucks. You'll get shit stolen out of your car. You'll get your car vandalized. People will try and come in your fucking house. I ain't paying shit for up and coming. So what they're trying to do is say, because it's an up and coming neighborhood, here's an extra $25,000 to $40,000 that we'll add to the price of this because it's gonna come around. But I'm like, I'm not fucking paying anything for it's gonna come around.
I can't think of a neighborhood in New Orleans that is really immune to that sort of thing happening, though, is there?
Right, so none of them should be priced as high as they fucking are. Because this, as I've said so many times, this fucking place sucks. The water board fucking sucks, the cops fucking suck, the roads fucking suck, the politics fucking sucks. We go out and get drunk and do all the fucking dancing in the streets and shit because it's like fucking, because it's so fucked up. That's what we have to fucking do. And then now it's being sold as this like, oh,
it's our particular flavor of bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm like, whatever, I'll do all that, but I expect to pay less for it, and I'm not, and I'm like, pretty pissed off about it, and I might just move to fucking Gretna. Fuck it.
Okay, so
I ain't playing ball. I'm not gonna drop $190 for no 2-bedroom, 1-bath fucking house. I just fucking no.
So Varg is knee deep in the house hunting again. And
my dream is to live in Lower Coast Algiers with Pistolet.
yeah.
And there's like nothing for sale out there. And
Those people don't want you to come around.
Those people don't want anyone coming around. Neither do I. I'm not going to bother them. I'm going to wave to them on the street as they go by. And then they're going to wave at me as I go by. And then that's going to be that.
Man, that sounds pretty great.
It's the city and it's the country. And I could shoot wild boars and shit with a bow and arrow. Be awesome. I need this, everybody. Contribute to our Patreon. So that's what I've been doing. I've been too busy working and house hunting to go out.
That sounds like a fuck ton of fun.
I've also been too busy working to do very much of a lot. But did I tell you guys I went camping on Grand Isle? Have we talked about that yet?
You were gonna go to Grand Isle.
Okay, I think last time we recorded, I was leaving the next day or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went camping on Grand Isle, and it was a ton of fun.
Was it?
Because we had great weather, which is really the key for good camping. But Grand Isle is not a nice place. It's it's fine. It's serviceable.
I mean, I always thought it was like come for the oil rigs and stay for the mosquitoes.
Yeah, the mosquitoes were still bad, even though it was cold and windy. It was amazing. I was like, how is this possible?
They are a hardy breed.
They are
the Grand Isle mosquitoes.
But luckily, it was cold enough that I wore clothes covering every part of my body, including my hands. And then I didn't get bites after that.
How everybody likes to dress at the beach.
But, we weren't at the beach. We were on a campground.
You didn't get that intrepid mosquito that says, fuck it, I'm going through this denim?
I actually had one bite me on my ass cheek through my pants.
Yeah, every now and then you get that guy who's like, I'm going in.
Yep, just buried himself in there.
I'm going to get through this cotton.
It was, but, I will say, the weather was great. My goal was, I want to get out of town. I don't want to look at my phone for an entire weekend, and I want to look at some birds. That's all I want to do. And I definitely didn't look at my phone because we took Pat's car and forgot all of our phone chargers.
Nice.
So didn't have the phone. And it's spring, so there were birds everywhere. And we got to walk on the beach and see, dozens and dozens and dozens of pelicans, which was amazing. And tons of other birds.
Yes, indeed.
And then we, hung out at the campfire and read books and talked to each other, and we cooked food over the fire, and it was great.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Sounds like a nightmare.
It was awesome. But yeah, it's not like you go to Grand Isle for this is a fabulous state park. Louisiana's state parks in general just make me so sad because they are in rough shape.
Right.
And
Billy's going to fix them, though.
In fact, the one that I wanted to go to, Lake Foss Point State Park out by Lafayette, the campground is still closed from flooding in 2016. So, y'all, our state parks they need help. But we don't have money for anything in this state, apparently. We're giving it all to DXC Technology and Tom Benson's dead ass. So,
Gail now.
Yeah, so that's why we can't have nice things. So anyway, went camping a couple weeks ago, and then I've been working nonstop. But I did decide that I wanted to watch more David Lynch movies this year.
But not at the beach.
Not at the beach. I'm off the beach now.
Okay.
So we watched Dune.
Also not at the beach.
Not at the beach, but very sandy, as it turns out. The sand was a theme there. And boy, that was a weird-ass movie.
You hadn't seen Dune before.
I had not seen Dune before. Had no idea what it was about. All I knew was it had Kyle MacLachlan in it. Turned out it also had Max von Sydow in it. That was very cool. I like him.
That guy's in everything.
I like him. It had a hot Duke. It had...
A what?
The Hot Duke.
That's the character he played?
Yeah.
Okay. Hot Duke!
Hot Duke.
Sting was in this movie.
It had Sting. He
had magic underwear in
it.
It
had
right?
a character that was so grotesque that he almost looked as bad as Steve Bannon.
Charles Durning played him, maybe?
Baron Harkonnen?
Yes, it had flying Steve Bannon.
Yeah, flying pustulant Steve Bannon. And, as it turns out, I'm sitting watching this movie, and about halfway through it, I turned and I looked at Pat and I said, "Holy shit! It's a movie about labor." It's a movie about how direct action gets the goods.
Kind of, yeah. I guess it is.
It's a movie about like taking control of the means of production, and had I known that, I probably would have watched it a lot sooner. So, Dune has pretty radical politics, as it turns out.
That movie does, and I'm sure you listened to the same Chapo episode that I did about when they talked about this. But
I may have missed it. Actually.
There's a whole thing about the books and how they get progressively fascist in a lot of ways. Like there are a lot of themes that run through it, as through a lot of this kind of fantasy sci-fi, where like it's about genetics and about the heritage of this family is more important than like everyone.
Yeah, there's some weird nationalism that runs through a lot of the space.
There is a lot of that, but yeah, the plot of Dune itself is very much. It can very much be interpreted as a labor revolt.
Was this a recent Chapo where they talked about this? Okay, I'm way behind, so I may have missed it.
Well, that's fine. It's just it's gotten a lot of currency lately, and I think that's part of it. And
I'm so hip, and I didn't even know.
You were just like, I don't know, Alli. You have you just pull it from the ether.
I've got my
collective consciousness,
my finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist. That is correct.
It's like the zeitgeist is a giant sandworm that she just rides naturally through anyway.
Yeah, the sleeper has awakened, so they say. So yeah, I watched Dune. I went camping. And it was Pat's and my wedding anniversary this week, so we ate at Brigsten's because we had a gift certificate. So I ate all of the seafood on the menu. I love Brigsten's because that restaurant is immune from every trend. It is just exactly what they want it to be and nothing else, and it's been that way for like 30 years.
It is just a damn house that they turned into a restaurant.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is the one on the riverbend?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is a house they turned into a restaurant.
It is so great. Nothing can drag them off of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do their thing, they do it really well, and that's it. It's so pure in a way.
You walk into the mud room, they take you down the hall, and they seat you in the guest bedroom, basically. There's walls, there's like doorways that are like real doorways.
Yeah, it's like a side hall cottage, basically. It's awesome. The food was fabulous. Yeah, they had like a thing that they called the Shell Beach diet, which was like little bites of all of the seafood things on the menu.
Oh, that's cute.
And it was delicious.
What I remember about Brigsten's is that it was the first New Orleans restaurant that I brought Mankles out to after she moved down, and so like I always remember it for that. But I'd been there before. But it's one of my favorite restaurants. We coincidentally just celebrated our wedding anniversary because you guys' and ours is in the same week.
Yep.
And we
happy anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Same to you. We had a big time of it. We ordered from August Moon. I think I had the chicken and garlic sauce and crab rangoon. Maybe. It was really nice. They bring it right to your door. They're pretty quick too. I think they have it ready. Like as soon as you call, it's like instant almost. It's pretty neat. And we watched a documentary about Adderall.
Crab rangoons already prepared, just kind of sitting there.
You would think, man.
Yeah, under the heat
the magic of how that works is really amazing to me.
You know what? Nothing can ruin crab rangoons for me. They're so good. I love them so much.
I'm sorry, I jumped in on your Brightsons.
No, you watched a documentary about what you said?
About Adderall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, what that was like.
All right.
Well, it was about how you would expect.
It's basically
high strung.
Yes. Those people do a lot of Adderall, it turns out, and it's and it helps them focus, but it really kind of ruins them. And it's like meth, but for fancy.
I've heard
people.
you don't get off it.
Yeah.
You get on it, you're on it for life, man. It changes your wiring and whatnot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'll avoid it then.
Many drugs do, but that one in particular kind of it won't kill you though. It ain't like an opiate, but.
Okay.
Yeah, you will develop a dependency on it that is said to be lifelong.
Well, speaking of lifelong dependencies, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my anniversary.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Just because usually we don't like give each other gifts all the time. Like we don't do like holiday gifts always or anything. But for some reason this year we just decided to give each other anniversary gifts. Pat got me a pair of binoculars for my bird watching.
I was going to say, what are those for?
For bird watching.
Yeah, all right.
I tried them out today, actually, and it's like a total game changer. I can see so much.
Binoculars are great.
God, I love them. I'm like, I want to go out tomorrow and go look at more stuff. But I got Pat a Nintendo Switch and the new Legend of Zelda game.
Oh, this is why we haven't heard from Pat in 3 days or something.
Well, I had to like get it all set up for him because I don't think he realized that there was a new Nintendo thing, and then he didn't know what it was, or that you could play it either as a handheld or on the TV, which is the whole like concept behind the console.
The name Switch.
Yeah, and he had no idea there was a new Zelda game or anything. So I bought it for him, and he was like, "Oh, cool!" And then it just sat there for a couple days. So then I decided, I'm just going to get this set up for you and then pester you until you actually start playing it. And then he played it and he didn't put it down for like 6 hours. So I was like, okay, I guess he likes it now. But I like to watch him play it because then I can look up how to do things and give him advice on how to do it. And so then I get to also play it.
You are Zelda-splaining to him.
No, I'm just reading things.
Uh-huh.
She's basically an assistant coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's feeding him plays, and he's going in there and doing it.
Yeah, and sometimes I like to help solve the puzzles without, reading about the solutions. I just have some ideas sometimes. But also he's colorblind, and so he can't always see everything. So I do feel the need to, like, point out some things that are, like, red on the screen so that he can see them. But the new Zelda is really fun. It's a totally open world game, so you can kind of do whatever you want. You can either follow the main quests, or you can just kind of like fuck around and do random stuff. And I've played it a little
Freeform.
Yeah, I've played
Freeform Zelda.
I've played it a little bit myself. It's also really fun because to keep your health and life up, you have to collect food and cook it at fires. So there's this whole cooking scheme that runs through the new Zelda game. That's kind of fun. So it gives you chores, basically.
Because we don't have enough of those in our real lives. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while you're cooking, it plays a song that sounds a little bit like the slap bass theme from Seinfeld. Anyway.
That means we chilling and grilling and chilling right now in our Zelda game.
Yeah.
We just kicking it out here in the campground.
I bet you can find a clip of it on YouTube.
All right. Maybe I'm sure Jeff will go and find it and download it and insert it into this part of the podcast.
Maybe. Anyway, it's a fun game, and yeah, and so we've been playing video games.
You've been playing a lot of video games this week. All right.
Yeah.
I loved playing video games back when I used to do it because it was a way where it had some mental health benefits for me. I know that mass shootings also occur because of them, but for me, it went the opposite direction. So, I mean, you've been reading the news.
Sure.
But I would come home from waiting tables, and if I had about an hour and a half of video games, I would be wound down enough to go to sleep and stuff. So, and they're a nice way of putting yourself into another world where you're free of a lot of drudgery. Although now you have to cook and shit. But
I'm excited because there's also a new Super Mario game that I want to get.
Jesus, what's old is new again. Time's a flat circle.
Mario, and there's a Mario Kart. So like I feel like once we have like Zelda, Mario, and Mario Kart, it's like, what other games do you need?
Missile Command.
I mean, really what I want, I'll be totally honest, my ultimate video game experience would be just buying a used Nintendo 64 and getting to play N64 games again.
Well, they have little consoles for those now, where all the games are just right in there.
Not for the N64, though. Just for the Nintendo Classic.
Oh.
And the SNES, I think they have one of those.
We have Mario Kart for the Wii. It's my favorite one.
I love Mario Kart.
She doesn't like to play. I like to play it.
I liked playing. I mean, on the N64, I loved playing Super Mario 64 and Diddy Kong Racing and Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye and all that good shit. So, if anyone wants to play N64, hit me up. I want to play it.
I will tell. I used to love playing video games with my partners. Now, any kind of competition games was always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you were broke as fuck. You get 240s and a dime bag, and then you just sit around and you play fucking Madden all night.
When is the next Madden tournament going to be?
I don't know, but we need to see if Neil Abramson wants to fucking be a part of it.
Yeah, he's
and Linda Hamilton. We need to bring everyone. We need to get the band back together from that first night.
Yeah, now that I know who Linda Hamilton is, I would want to do that.
No, Neil gets to come
I
play.
finally watched Terminator 2 for the first time.
She's a badass in there.
I keep forgetting. It's like Alli just like saw Dune for the first time and Terminator 2 for the first time. Cause
She knew who Prince was because of Dave Chappelle's sketch. So she's a millennial, man.
That's not true.
You said that is on the podcast. You're like, I don't really know who he is other than the Dave Chappelle show sketch. It has been said.
that doesn't sound right.
I remember. Y'all can say it seems like that probably.
Yeah.
But none of those things are stronger than the slight head bow and head shake that I did when I heard her say it. It's like Kennedy got shot or something.
It's amazing. If that is huge, if true.
It's in one of those episodes back when he died.
I'll take a look.
Rewind.
Also, all the numerous times I've been right about so much stuff that I predicted. Times when I've predicted the future and shit like that. About Chewbacca's and Colin Kaepernick and stuff.
Colin Kaepernick was in Chewbacca's?
Maybe in a few years.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
Did you do your SOSO with August Moon? What the fuck is that? What is that?
Yeah, well, that's what we
I know you ate there, but what the fuck is it?
It's right up there on Britannia.
It's a Chinese Vietnamese takeout place.
Mm-hmm.
I used to order
It's
from there
on
all the
Britannia?
time when
It's
I
a lot
lived
of fun.
uptown.
Yeah. Actually, we did a thing last week. We went to Casa Borrega and participated in
Casa Borrega.
in Agave Week, where
that
a lot
sounds
of the restaurants around town were doing tequila-based promotions. And then they were doing a set price menu where they pair the dishes with different tequilas, and the tequila reps from, I think, Suerte Tequila were in the house, and they were
We got Suerte in the house.
floating around the room, asking you if you were enjoying the tequila and if you had any questions about the tequila.
Sorry, that wasn't loud enough.
Was that what it was? The
Suerte in the house.
yeah soundboard. Yeah,
It's just the air
do it a couple more times.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Like, they would go around, they'd float around, and they would, like, ask you if you had any questions about the tequila, and they would explain the tequila to you, and all I know is that some of the tequila is aged more than others of the tequila.
It's kind of how all the booze goes.
Yeah, we leave it in the barrel for this long, and we call it this, and here, enjoy it, and here, and then they gave a speech, because I think they have to do that. And basically, they tried to sell you a lot of tequila the whole time.
I've heard that a lot of those boozes, vodkas, whiskeys, a lot of them they buy their the whiskey like in bulk, like it comes from some distributor wherever, and then to make it their whiskey. It's just a matter of they filter it through a series of fucking whatever they have to do to make it their whiskey.
I've heard that also. I'll back you up on that.
Yeah, I think it's fucking just another thing that's bullshit.
Like private labeling.
Yeah.
It's like Kirkland brand. Like the Kirkland bourbon at Costco is basically just like Jack Daniels or something.
It all just comes out of the
Kirkland has
tap.
a bourbon too?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had the beer?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was fine.
Oh, me and my buddy Doug had some, and mind you, I had a 40 ounce of Old English.
Ugh.
Drank one Kirkland, went home, woke up feeling like shit the next day, talked to my buddy Doug, who had also consumed the exact same thing, and we both said, yeah, that Kirkland really fucked us up. And now he has like 40 of them in his fridge, and none of us will touch them because we felt so bad.
It was the Old English, dumbass.
I drink Old English all the time. I never feel bad. That Kirkland had a taste of pen ink. Like, you ever chew on a Bic when you were a kid and it busts and it gets in your mouth? Okay, well, it tasted like Kirkland. Or how about port that's kind of sat out too long, or red wine that's kind of turned? Kind of had that kind of inky kind of flavor to it. But they have a whiskey too.
Yeah, the Kirkland brand bourbon is really good. I've had it. We stock it for our Endymion party every year, and it always goes. People drink it.
It's like Kickapoo juice.
It's good
people
stuff.
drink it. They don't know what the hell it is.
Jungle
Joy juice.
Kickapoo
Joy juice.
Yeah.
No, the Kirkland bourbon is pretty good.
Hey, I'm at a party. I'll drink this shit. I don't know what it is.
It's true. That's what the mama.
I mean, Kirkland bourbon basically tastes like Bullet. It's like, and it's probably the same stuff.
Yeah, it's probably all bullshit.
Yeah. It all comes from one tap somewhere, and then they just distribute it out and drop their flavor crystals in it.
Put a picture of Jesse James on it or something, and be like,
it's good.
Do you think that somebody at Costco was like, what are we going to call this shit? Well, we need a blanket name for everything that, will sort of still, like, what's the least threatening name, most generic name we can have?
For a whiskey?
Well, it's also for the beer.
Oh, for a beer.
Oh, it's
Kirkland beer and whiskey.
It's their in-house brand. I mean, everything at Costco is Kirkland signature. That's their...
Kirkland chicken nuggets?
That's their brand. I mean, if it's their in-house brand...
But
it's all Kirkland.
The frozen burritos are Kirkland frozen burritos?
They probably have some, but
so
not everything is private label. Like Trader Joe's. If you go into Trader Joe's, everything is Trader Joe's brand.
Right.
Because all they do is they work with the manufacturers, they buy a certain portion of their stuff, and they label it themselves. It's called private labeling. But it's the same exact stuff. It's just a different label.
It all comes from one factory, and they just push a button to decide if they want to 3D print a burrito or a bottle of whiskey or whatever they want.
But
it's pretty magical, actually.
The old El Paso taco shells have to have some sort of difference between the Trader Joe's taco shell. They have to push another button that sprinkles 3 extra heapings of cumin on them or something like that.
No, it's the same machine.
It's the same stuff.
It's all the same machine.
But there has to be something at some point that says, make it ours. We're going to drop white pepper instead of black pepper. There has to be something there.
No, it's the same product. That's the whole deal. Because then, otherwise they would have to change the manufacturing process instead of just labeling it something different. And instead they can just label it their own product.
Well, there's only one way to find out about all this.
We have
to have a frozen burrito taste test.
Oh, I thought we had to visit the factory.
No, they won't let us in there. Jesus Christ. We need to hit it from the line.
I think their brand is called Kirkland Signature because Kirkland is a town near Washington or near Seattle where they're headquartered. So
some
I think
shit they made
that's
up.
What
There's not a guy named Kirkland who's doing it. It's just
so a whole town's being disparaged by that shitty beer.
Well, it's not just the beer.
It's the frozen burritos too.
Kirkland brand stuff is awesome.
And the cornflakes.
I have Kirkland brand all over my house.
Where
it's
they
good
make
shit.
everything. Kirkland is just where stuff comes from.
It can't be good shit.
It is.
You put extra shit.
Because it's the same stuff.
You Sandra Lee that shit though, huh? You throw extra little spices on it to make it better.
I'm not talking about the food.
Oh, the whiskey and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh. They have box wine? Kirkland box wine?
They might. They have toilet paper. We buy their toilet paper.
Hey. There's only a couple recipes for that shit.
Dude, they're a Kirkland household, okay? They've signed up for it. They're just part of the family
My
now.
favorite thing my favorite Kirkland brand product is the olive oil. Because it's like, you can tell like where in Italy it came from, and you open it up and it actually smells like, it has that like kind of menthol, minty smell, which means it's actual olive oil.
Okay. I just wanted the listeners to know that they still need to contribute to the Patreon because we are definitely not sponsored by Kirkland products.
No, although
Not that I know of.
Right.
Allie may have cut a side deal.
Costco's got some good value. That's all I'm saying. I need bargains just like everyone else.
Of course you do. You're a socialist.
Yeah.
You definitely need bargains.
I'm not made of money.
Anyway,
I'm not rich.
Costco is kind of the opposite of socialism, though. Isn't it? Huge.
There's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Okay.
We're all just trying to make do in this shitty system that we're prisoners to.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big jug of moonshine on top of my refrigerator.
That's nice.
That ain't Kirkland's.
Anyway, how do we get out of this?
Why don't you do the jive wire,
Okay.
Jeff? You can do it, because you wrote most of it.
Do you have it?
I do.
All right.
I've been listening to a lot of Tix FM lately.
Yeah?
Yep.
They give a lot of announcements on...
XFM.
New Orleans, and we love you. Thing about Tix is, man, they'll surprise you with some shit sometimes, man.
I do love that radio station.
It is so legit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hunker Downcast Jive Wire, brought to you by
Our brand new established Patreon
Kirkland Products. This is your fake music calendar for no night in particular. The Steamboat Queenie hosts Calliope at sunset. Muttering Bills features the Brainini Beaters at 7. A TBA Airbnb hosts the Landlord Community at 7. The Statue Shack has the Definitely Not a Mitch 2020 fundraising event at 9.
Jesus.
The Frenchman Tourist Trap has Greasy Gree at 9. The High Intensity Business hosts the Legislative Vendetta at 9. The Broken Window Bar has the Palantirs at 9. Mr. Mays has Beer in the Book Drop at 10.
Mr. Mays.
Our friends Betty's Pub and Grub and Rub and Tug. Who plays there? The Happy Endings at 10. Tom's Hunting Club has Rita Woulda Won at 10. The Spillway has the High Water Challengers at 10.
Yeah, they've been in the news lately.
The Cantrell Cantina has the Horizontal Tacos at 10.
Whoa.
Something called Paramore of Gale is going to be playing at the Bachelorette Bar. There's no time given. I think probably 10:30.
It's their bedtime.
Something called Airbnb and the Air Mattresses at the...
Airbnb Bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, there's a difference.
This is Varg's handwriting. Airbnb Bro and the Air Mattresses at the Historic Treme Bar.
Right in the middle of historic.
You can fit like 9 or 10 of them in there.
12.
12.
Beer pong table and everything.
Go for it. The Rudy Bounce Bar has Jazz Fest Station at 10. And John Bell's Hen House has the Rally Foxes at midnight.
Late show.
To get your gig into the Jive Wire, do some stuff.
Tweet at us. That's the best way.
Yell at us in the street.
Visit us at hungerdowncast.com.
I don't think I've checked our email in a while.
You have to check our email? It doesn't just sift through into your Gmail?
Does it? Right. It's don't email us. Go tweet at us. Holler at us in the street. Go to Varg's gallery and talk to him at work. Buy a smart, buy a pen. Do
direct
like
approach.
That. Yeah.
Talk to us in person.
We're coming up on our 50th episode, our grand 50th anniversary episode, aren't we?
This is actually number 45.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the Trump episode, if you like. So I hope everybody enjoyed that.
It's the biggest episode ever. The best.
It is. It's the best. This is all about.
It's fine.
Not good. Sad.
This is we're gonna win. Fine. We're gonna win the trade war, unlike the. Who are the people? No,
House of Trades?
No, who are the people who lost the trade war in the damn movie with the trade war?
Oh, Star Wars?
Yeah, what were the fucking names?
Newt Gunray and them, or the Nabooians.
Yeah. This is the worst goddamn Star Wars reference we've had in all the Star Wars references of every episode that we've done.
I never watched this.
I never knew who
watched it.
God damn it, we put one in, is the whole point.
What happened is that the Separatists, that was all just to get Palpatine in. The Separatists lost the
it was a very bad script.
It was terrible.
Anyway, I think we did a show.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You guys have anything else to add to this monstrosity?
No.
Socialism will win.
No, I have nothing after
Take that,
that.
Tom.
R.I.P. Tom. Love you, Tom. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for listening.